Hey guys, welcome to my first video of building a custom FiveM server. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for future parts of this series. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, so the main reason I'm getting into the FiveM server building content is because their FiveM server documentation is not the greatest and it's a little difficult to understand. So as a developer in multiple FiveM communities, I'm going to start with the basics today, and then I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. Alright, let's head to the link in the description for FiveM server documentation. It's going to look like this. So when you get up here, you're going to want to take and scroll all the way down until you get to traditional installation steps, and Windows if you're on a Windows PC, and Linux if you're on a Linux PC. In this video I'm going to be covering the Windows installation. So first you're going to make sure you have your prerequisites downloaded, Visual C++, and Git. So how I'm going to start off and how we're going to start off today is you're going to start artifact server link and then the CFX server data link. So for the CFX server data link, you're going to click the code, download zip, that'll start downloading down here. And then in your artifact server, you're going to start with your latest recommended. Mine is 3539. Depending on when you watch this video, it might be newer because they update this regularly. So I'm going to download that. I use a software called WinRAR. If you are not aware what WinRAR is, it's basically a zip and RAR file opener. And I will have a download link for that in the description because it makes opening these files so much easier. Alright, so we can close out of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this. This is your server artifacts, and then this is your data master. And the next thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be heading over to your file explorer. And in this is where we're going to create our files. So pick the hard drive that you would like. In this case I'm using my K drive. We're going to set up a folder that's called FX server, FX being capital, S being capital. For this tutorial, I'm going to name my server tutorial build. You can name your server folder whatever you please. Just we're going to have to change something later on, and you'll see that because mine is different. So what we're going to do in the your server folder, you're going to create another folder that says server, and then you're going to create another server that says server -data. So in server we're gonna copy all the artifacts files from that one zip, and while that copies, we're gonna move them over. Alright, we can close out of that one. We're done here for right now. We're gonna go to back to our server folder. We're gonna go into server data, and we are going to open our CFX server data master folder, and we are going to pull out the resources, the readme, and the gignor. Another tip is I'm going to have a link for this in the description. It's called Notepad++. It's going to make it easier to edit these text documents, not specifically .txt's, but the .md's, .cfg's, and all the other ones that we're going to come across later in this series. Another thing we're going to need to do is we're going to head over to our View tab, and we're going to make sure File Name Extensions is clicked on. So I'm going to have those clicked on. And then we're going to right click, new, text document, highlight the whole thing, even the .txt. That's why we turned on those files extensions. We're going to do a server.cfg. This is going to pop up with a warning. You're going to click yes. And if we head back to our server documentation, this is step 5. The server CFG is basically the home base for our server. And to get to it, the example is if you scroll down a little bit, we're going to copy and paste this example server.cfg. We're going to copy that, minimize that. We're going to open the server.cfg. It's going to be blank, and you're going to paste this in here. So the server CFG is basically what tells you what resources are in your server and what and who runs them. So basically, I'm going to change the name under line 39. I'm just going to change it to tutorial build server, and then I'm going to do a line, and I'm going to do Hans. So this is where you can change your logos for in the menu of FiveM. And down here is the license key. Where it says change me, we're going to head back to the server documentation, and we are going to scroll all the way back up to the top, and we're going to have cfx.re keymaster. It's going to say you need to sign in. So I have a key already made here, but we're going to create a new one. So we're going to click register. You're going to type in whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to call mine tutorial FiveM server. I'm just going to call mine FiveM server. The IP address, if it's on your home computer, you're going to just go to what's my IP, copy and paste your IP. If you're on your home PC, if this is just a test server, if you're running a server off of something in your house, we're going to click other, and we're going to type in home hosted. If you are on a dedicated server or a server provider like Zap, or if you're on a VPS, we're going to choose those. I am not a robot, and we're going to click generate. So this is the site that will come up, and it's going to tell you your key. It's going to blur it out for you until you hover over it. So we're going to copy and paste this into the change me of the server.cfg. So now we can save the server.cfg. We can actually exit out of the server.cfg and head back to our documentation. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to run the server. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our server data, and we're going to right click new text document again, highlight it all, and type in run.bat. Mine, I'm going to put start. It really doesn't matter what you put here as long as it is a .bat file. And what we're going to do is we are going to right click, edit with Notepad++, head back to the server documentation, copy and paste this line of code, which is underneath step 7, and paste it in here. So now this is where we're going to have to change stuff, and it's going to not get complicated, but you just have to remember. So whatever drive letter you put your folder for your server on is what we're going to put here. In my case, mine is K. I'm going to put K for both of them. And then here where it says FX Server, that is going to be whatever folder name you made. So mine is going to be tutorial build. Yours is going to be FX Server or something of the sorts. You're going to change it in both places. And you're not going to change it here because this is a program in your artifacts folder. So we're going to save that. You should now be able to double click your start.bat, and here it is. Your server is running. It's going to load, and it's going to resolve all packages, and this is going to take a couple minutes. But after those load and after those are done downloading, what I usually do is I type quit enter like this, and it stops it, and then I restart it again, and it should be up and running on your PC for localhost. Clear the cache after you add anything, just because the cache makes conflictments in your server. Other than that, you have a basic FiveM server. So stick around to figure out how to add in certain resources. Like I'm going to be doing a video on vMenu. I'm going to be doing a video on EUP if you have an Argenum level key. I'm going to be doing a video on ESX in the future, and I'm going to be doing a video on I'm going to be doing videos of gameplay from FiveM because I am involved in multiple communities. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and ring that bell so you can hear from me in the future. All right. Have a good day, guys.